بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء وأشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان وصدق إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى ولا تتمنوا ما فضل الله به بعضكم على بعض للرجال نصيب مما اكتسبوا وللنساء نصيب مما اكتسبن واسألوا الله من فضله إن الله كان بكل شيء عليما وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تشبه بقوم فهو منهم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Respected ulama kiram, elders, huffaz, and beloved brothers, before we come to our topic proper, I would like to mention two important points that we should take note of. Among the many ni'mats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the faculty of aql and reasoning. This brain which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fitted in our bodies is a very special ni'mat and bounty of Allah wa ta'ala. And only insan is blessed with this. The other makhlukat and creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the animals etc., they have big sizes, they have great power and strength. But Allah ta'ala hasn't fitted within their bodies the faculty of aql and reasoning. So this aql and reasoning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it to us as humans, Muslim or non-Muslim, so that a person is able to discern between right and wrong, good and what's not good for him. But in the life of a Muslim, the faculty of reasoning is the lowest category of reasoning. Higher than our brain and aql is the Shariat of Allah wa ta'ala. Our brain, our thinking is very, very limited. It only goes to a certain point and needs something higher and beyond that. Above the brain is the Shariat of Allah wa ta'ala. Shariat means the divine law of Allah wa ta'ala. Each one of us are in need to the law of Allah wa ta'ala. And higher than the Shariat is the wa'i and revelation. Those revelations that came upon the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, and especially Rasuli Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. These are the highest sources above our brain and reasoning. Like how in the law of the land, we don't use our reasoning when contravening the law of the land. If somebody does an offense, and then which is against the law, and then uses his own reasoning and self-opinion, it is rejected. But even more serious than this is to use our reasoning against the law of Allah wa ta'ala. This is completely non-acceptable. And subhanallah, if we look at the life of the Sahaba Kiram, the beloved companions of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, even in their mundane activities also, they did not use their own reasoning. While the Sahaba were digging the trench for the battle of the trench, we all know the battle of the trench had taken place. In the 50th year of Hijrah, the Sahaba Kiram were digging the trench, which had to be dug in very, very limited time. Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam had outlined the lines of the trench, and Sahaba were made into different jamaats and groups to dig there. It so happened that a group of Sahaba came across a very hard piece of soil, and they could not dig. The axe and the picks and the spades were not going there, were not going beyond that. So some of them suggested that, why don't we bypass this rock, this hard piece of ground, and work around it. The greater part of the Sahaba said, how can we do something without asking ijazat from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Although it is a simple act, it's a matter of digging and bypassing. But the Sahaba Kiram said, this is not permissible for us to use our own reasoning in contravention to the lines of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was the degree of love Sahaba Kiram had in their hearts. When it came to Deen and Islam, they refused to listen to their own reasoning and preferred the reasoning and the logic of Sharia. Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala, the books of hadith record this. It's amazing. He says, لو كان الدين بالرأي If our deen functioned according to our self-opinion, and it was run according to what we think of deen, then I feel it would have been better to make masa under the mawza and the leather socks. وَلَكِنِّي رَأَيْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم يَمْسَحُ عَلَى ظَاهِرِهَا أو كما قال. But I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam making masa on the upper of his leather socks. Reasoning shows that the bottom part of the socks is the one that's touching the ground and more in need of the cleanliness. But he said, here reasoning doesn't work. The command of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam take superiority. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala, when he was making istilam of al-Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone, what did he say to the Hajar al-Aswad? He said, I know that you just a mere stone. By essence, you are just a stone, which is created by Allah wa ta'ala. And I know you within yourself don't have the power to benefit or harm. وَلَكِنِّي رَأَيْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم يُقَبِّلُكِ. But I saw Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam kissing you. That is why I am kissing you. This was the level of compliance of the Sahaba Kiram towards the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and towards Shariat. Our reasoning and the law of Shariat can be compared to the sun and the eye. Our eyes are put in our heads. The eye will work only optimally if it is guided by the light of the sun, or there is lighting around. Then the eye will work optimally and you will get the best vision. Like that, our eye is our reasoning and our aql. Shariat is the light of the sun. We can only reason correctly if our reasoning is in accordance to the light shown by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah ta'ala grant us the understanding. In every essence of matter for our life, we depend on Shariat and we ask Shariat for guidance. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is the aspect which comes to the two enemies in our life, in a Muslim's life. Like that in every person's life, but particularly in the life of a Muslim, there are two enemies. One is the external force and one is the internal force. The external force and enemy is shaitan. When shaitan was taken out from Jannah and was deprived from the mercy of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, he made a promise. He said, Oh Allah, although you are evicting me, but I promise you, وَلَأُضِلَّنَّهُمْ, I will with my utmost try and mislead the progeny of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. How? وَلَأُمَنِّيَنَّهُمْ, I will cause desires, such base desires in their lives, in which they will contravene your law and your shariat. وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُبَتِّكُنَّ آذَانَ الْأَنْعَامِ وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. Wallah, don't you worry. In my efforts of misguidance, I will, by command of such force, cause them to do things which are beyond human reasoning. Cutting off the ears of the animals, there was a ritual in that time. They will do such rituals in their life, which makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't come to mind how a hook in the eyebrow is some kind of design, or a ring on a person's tongue, or a ring on the belly. What benefit does it cause? Absolutely nothing. But it's regarded as a trend. It's regarded as a design. It's regarded as fashion. So this is, Shaitan said, Oh Allah, don't you worry. I will cause them to do such things which are completely against the normal systems of life. فَلَيُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ, and by effect, they will change your natural system of your creation and makhluk. So that was the outside force, the force of Shaitan. And we all know this force, the force of Shaitan. But there's also an inner force in every person's life, and that is our nafs and our carnal desires. Our nafs also, our carnal desires, Allah Ta'ala has created this by virtue of His wisdom. But this nafs also, which Allah Ta'ala has created within us, has to be steered and maneuvered by Shariat. It has to be trained according to Shariat, according to the laws of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Otherwise, this nafs, by nature, inna nafs al-ammaratum bis-su. The nafs by nature has a tendency to invite a person towards wrong all the time. So these are the 2 points One is the non-using of our rational, our own thinking against the law of Allah Ta'ala. And one is to ensure that our desires must be in commitment according to Shariat. Nowadays there is a scourge. And this comes to the topic of today. There is a scourge in the ummah for liberalism, freedom, secularism, yani having such value systems that are not related to deen and religion. They got no desire to be with Islam and Muslimin, secularism, nothing to do with deen. And also sadly with that feminism and all the other isms that come along with it. Now if we have to, by definition, look at what is feminism. So the dictionary defines feminism as a woman having this belief and aim that her rights, her powers, her opportunities must be that the same as that of a man. This is the essence of feminism. That a woman, she feels that she has the same rights, she has the same power, and she must also have the same opportunities as that of a man. This is the definition of feminism. Whilst on one hand, many of us, or many of our ladies, might not advocate this theory openly. They may not say this, that look, my rights, my opportunities, my powers, and my freedom must be like that of a man. But by action, by our very action, and our amal and deeds, we find that this same theory is being advocated very, very loudly by the medium of our deeds. As I said, we don't say it via our tongues, but the action that we see in the Muslim Ummah has become so blaring and glaring that this is an advocation of the same theory. After all, there must be some cause. What is the cause of this liberalism? This freedom of thought, freedom of mind, freedom of expression. What is the reason? If you have to look at one of the main reasons why the ummah has reached this decline today, which is a very sad state of affairs, is that the ummah in the past has not seen the depths of wealth which the ummah today is enjoying. The depths of wealth when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened upon us, the depths of mal and wealth, and there is a outpour of materials and resources and wealth. The ummah has not seen like this in the past. Many of us are migrants. Our great-grandparents were migrants when they came to this country. By their very beginnings, they had very humble beginnings. The depths of wealth which their progenies are enjoying, they didn't see those depths of wealth. Their lives were very, very simple, very, very humble. In fact, I don't even think so they would even dream that their progeny would enjoy the depths of mal and wealth in proportion to the shallow wealth and what they had seen in their times. Likewise, in the zaman of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the dunya has not opened to the Sahaba Kiram at that time. Once Hazrat Musa bin Umair radiyallahu ta'ala, he was a immigrant Sahabi. He was sent to Medina Munawwara. Prior to his Islam, he was absolutely wealthy. Just the perfume that Hazrat Musa bin Umair radiyallahu ta'ala used to wear. But while being a non-Muslim, when he would pass the roads and gullies, people would say, Musab has passed here. And he had his non-Muslim mother had lots of money to share with him. When he accepted Islam, obviously it means that he had to divorce all these luxuries and come into the simple Muslim environment. He had to relinquish all these virtues. He had now to come down to humble simplicity. One day he walked into the masjid of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He had a shawl on his body, not even a fully kitted set of clothes. And that shawl also was patched with a leather patch in between. It was a fabric shawl, and there was a hole in it, and that hole was patched using a piece of leather. His appearance was very, 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 very humble and simple. The kitabs of hadith mention, فَبَكَى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw him, he started crying. He teared. Why? He said, I remember this Musab, his past. What was his past? And look at his present. Such simplicity is in. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked the Sahaba a question. He said, Kayfa bikum? Tell me, Sahaba, how will it be? What will the levels of your iman be? A time will come in you. إِذَا غَدَى أَحَدُكُمْ فِي حُلَّةٍ وَرَاعَ فِي حُلَّةٍ. In the morning you'll have a different set of clothes. In the evening you'll have another set of clothes. Luxury will point to the ummah, كَيْفَ بِكُمْ? What will be your condition? In the morning you will see that you have a separate garment for the bedroom, a separate dressing for going out into your yard, a separate dressing for in the evening. وَوُدِعَتْ صَعْفَةٌ رُفِيَتْ أُخْرَى. Food will pour in abundance. You'll have so much of money that in the morning, when you're eating on your tables, one menu will be taken, another one will be brought. The second will be taken, the third one will be brought. كيف بكم? What will be the level of your iman at that time? Sahaba Kizam said, Hazrat, if ever a time of luxury comes in our lives, inshallah we'll engage ourselves better in ibadat. نتفرغ للعبادة ونكفى المؤونة. We will be better people. Our ibadat will increase. Our commitment to Allah will increase. Nabi said, La bal antum khayrun al-yawma. No, my Sahaba Kiram. Don't think the pouring out of affluence means that your levels will also increase. It is condition that you are much more better. وَصَدَقَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. How true is these words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? In another hadith, Hazrat Amr bin Auf radiyallahu ta'ala said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Sahaba Kiram, and that too, what abject poverty they were going through. If we to learn this, we have to make ta'aleem in our homes, my brothers. We'll have to read the kitabs of Fadail to learn what was our past. A nation who doesn't record its past won't be a prosperous nation. We'll have to read these books of hadith in our homes so that we and our children are conscientized of the reality. Hazrat Amr bin Auf radiyallahu ta'ala, what was the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the mother of the believers say, رأينا الهلال ثم رأينا الهلال ثم رأينا الهلال وما كنا نستوقد نارا في بيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. By the custom of Allah, we used to see one moon, then another and a third moon. 3 months we didn't have the opportunity to light a fire in our house to cook some food in the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So her nephew was very surprised. Hey auntie, did you live like this really? For 3 months you didn't have cooked food? What did you survive on? She said, Al-Aswadain, At-Tamr wal-Ma. We used to eat dates and water. It comes in Tirmidhi Sharif. Hazrat Aisha says, we are the family of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There were never 3 days in succession that we could fill our stomachs with barley bread. I can't remember 3 days in succession. We had a full meal and we were satiated. If there was 2 days of food, the third day was starvation. It was 1 day of food, 2 days of starvation. That was the condition in the life of Rasulullah. Yet, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told the Sahaba, لَا الْفَقْرَ أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ. My Sahaba, I'm not scared of poverty on you. I'm not scared that poverty will lead you to misguidance. That is my least of my worries. وَلَكِنْ أَخْشَى أَن تُبْسَطَ عَلَيْكُمُ الدُّنْيَا كَمَا بُسْكِتَتْ عَلَى مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. My fear for you is this: Allah will unleash the rains of dunya. The rains of dunya will be let loose, and dunya will pour into your lives. كَمَا بُسِطَتْ عَلَى مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. And it was the same system of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala with the nations before you. And what happened? Instead of appreciation, فَتَنَافَسُوهَا كَمَا تَنَافَسُوهَا. They started competing with each another for dunya. فَتُهْلِكَكُمْ كَمَا أَهْلَكَتْهُمْ. Oh my Sahaba, although you are in the state of poverty, that's not my worry. My worry is the time in the ummah when dunya will pour out. And then people will be vying with each another for dunya, competing with each other for dunya. and dunya will destroy you morally, physically, emotionally, like how it destroyed the people before you. And this is the reality, my dear brothers. The abundance of affluence in dunya has robbed the ummah of haya and modesty. We have to see all these issues that we've been discussing. It has destroyed the lives of people of that part of the ummah who have become unmindful and heedless of their deen. And who is the target? Across the board, of the young and the old, and especially the women folk especially, have become victims of the scourge. Because of the abundance of dunya, haya and modesty has so to say, is losing itself. And we find that the sense of an inferiority complex settling into the heart of a woman. An inferiority complex. A woman feels deprived and she wants to change her lifestyle and values to feel more honored and more respectable. Every effort today is being made how we can increase our outdoor life. Our outdoor life must increase. We can become more popular, more recognized, and we find the entire secular education system. And all these are coming with these promises that if you abide, you'll get more exposure, you'll get a better quality life. And unfortunately, I have to mention this, we find the scourge of the new paddle tennis courts everywhere. Every corner and look that you're going, we see this new fitna in the ummah. This is also a direct effect of this. Okay, women that were supposed to be, in their homes with their haya and modesty, this fitna has become now completely open. Every nook and corner we go, there's a paddle tennis court is available, where women also are invited, men also are taking part. Respected brothers and sisters, we have to ask ourselves, is not this a great disservice to the qurbani and the efforts of the Sahaba Kiram? We are the mothers of the ummah, like that of Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha. We are the mothers of the ummah, like that of Ummi Khallat radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Ummi Khallat radiyallahu ta'ala anha, her son had passed away. He had passed away in jihad with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When she hears that her son has passed away, she came running to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam to find out what are the whereabouts of her son and what happened. And this condition, she was wearing her niqab, she was wearing her veil. One Sahabi commented, I don't understand. You are in such a frantic situation. You are at a time where you have such a great musibah has thrown upon your life, you've lost your son. How come you still held your composure and you're still wearing your niqab? Look at the answer of the Sahabi of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that should serve a lesson to all of us. She said, I have lost my son, not my modesty. I have lost my son, but not my haya and my modesty. Many of us probably don't know this. We have the janazah stretcher cover. Who was responsible for the cover that's put over the stretcher? None other than Hazrat Fatima radiyallahu anha. Hazrat Fatima radiyallahu anha told her maid servant, I have this fear in my heart that when I die, I don't want any ghair mahram to see my body. Prior to this, the janazah used to be given his kafan and put on a stretcher and carried. The iman also was so great, no one would bother to have a sinful look. Hazrat Fatima radiallahu anha said to her maid servant, I am scared that when I pass away and my body is carried, I don't want someone to look at my body. So the maid servant told her, auntie, don't worry. We in Habasha, we have this system. We make a small cage made with the twigs and branches, and we place that over our deceased. In that way, no one is able to look inside. She said, Bas, when I pass away, make sure you create the same system for me so that my body is concealed. Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, how many of us know that when Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, he was in her Mubarak home. He was buried there. When Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anha passed away, he's also buried next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In these two occasions, she would regularly go to visit the qabrs, to make salam in the qabr. But when Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala passed away, and he had requested to be buried there, then from that point onwards, she formed a screen in a room and never entered that area after that. She said, Umar is my ghair mahram. This is a matter of disease. people who have passed on. But the level of haya and modesty overwhelmed her life. And she said, look, now I won't go into the room. Although my husband is here, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and my father is also here, radiallahu anhu, but I won't go here now because the ghair mahram is buried here. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala give us a true understanding. For this, brothers, we'll have to do 4 things. Number 1, we'll have to bring into our lives and our homes the ta'aleem of the books of deen. Minus this, we are not going to win this battle. Ta'aleem is of great importance, where the housefolk are sitting around and reading the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is of paramount importance. Number 2, we should not at any cost compromise on the maktab and the madaris efforts which are around us. Our children at all costs should not make sacrifice the maktab and madrasa ta'aleem. We want to reduce the days of teaching from 5 to 4 and from 4 to I don't know what. Because we have got so many extracurricular activities beyond that. So the children are unable to attend maktab. The damage is not to the madrasa, the damage is to us. When our eyes will close, then we will know who are real assets of us. The maktab and the madrasa are the backbone of our deen. And they are the backbone of creating children who inshallah will be obedient and faithful to us. Number 3 is this. We should always, our women folk, our men folk, attach ourselves to the masajid at all costs. At no cost should namaz be read at home, unnecessarily not in jama'at. And women folk who want to run to the masjid should rather read the namaz at home. Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has promised them more sawab in their own homes. So these are the first 3 points. The importance of ta'aleem I cannot overemphasize in our homes. Number 2, importance of the children going to the maktab and madrasa. At no point they should be compromised. Number 3, men folk should attach ourselves. These are the faults of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Our ulama mentioned when we stand in namaz, we are actually connecting, spiritually charging each another. Each person is passing on the little or lot spirituality has to his partner. That is why in namaz we are not allowed to break the saf. We have to stand united together. Each person is passing through his spirituality to the level that he possesses to his partner. In the ummah is charged in the masjid. And women folk, your place of charging is at home. You need a home charger. You need a home charger. Your charging is at home, not in the masjid. And the 4th thing, and this is very important, is that we make our home conducive to Islam and Deen. Our home must be conducive to Islam and Deen, where the morals of Islam and Deen are displayed. Islam is not only in the masjid and madrasa, and then in homes is something else. Islam and our Deen should be all over. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala save the ummah from the fitna that has scourged around it. Allah ta'ala give us hidayat, and let us make this month of Ramadan a mean of recharging spiritually in all aspects, and become stronger and more confident and more contributing to our deen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.